everybody, this is Tom from VermiBag. You know, I get quite a few comments here and there on the different videos and a lot of the gardening videos, and most of them for the most part are pretty positive. But I actually had a guy the other day, they had the audacity to come back and comment about my raised gardens, saying that they weren't more than probably 3 inches off the ground. I mean, can you believe that? 3 inches! Look at that. That's 9 inches. That's a heck of a lot more than 3 inches, like 3 times as much. So I don't think he really knows what he's talking about. So that being said, he's absolutely right. By putting a single layer of cement blocks to make a planter, you don't bring it up that high. I mean, it is a raised bed, so you can call it a raised bed, but it really only brings it up to the soil level, probably 10 inches, I suppose. There are some big advantages to it, though. I mean, it's much easier to weed, and you can actually weed whack around the blocks and stuff. So maintenance-wise, it's easy. Accessibility, it could be a lot better if it was taller, because the way it is right now, you still have to get down on your knees and get down really low to get on there and maintain it, pull any weeds that do happen to come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and double down on this, or I should say double up. I'm going to add another layer of blocks to this existing bed and bring it up another 12 inches. That'll make it a lot easier to get at. The big problem with this, though, is soil. Don't want to fill that whole thing up with actual topsoil. I mean, that'd be really expensive. Anybody that's gone down to the store and bought topsoil knows how expensive it is. So unless you live out in the country, you can get some and buy it by the yard, then it might be reasonable. But there's no reason to fill 2.5 feet of soil in this thing. Your roots aren't going to go down that deep, and you can have some poor soil down in the bottom. So I need to be able to fill this thing up because I don't have any more topsoil right now, but yet it's full of topsoil right now. So I'm going to do the next best thing, and it's actually probably better. It's better than getting some junky soil from somewhere and throwing in the bottom. I'm actually going to make some soil. And I'm going to make some soil in the future, not now. But I'm going to be able to use it right now. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So you guys are probably asking, how am I going to use soil now that I'm going to make in the future? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Well, the answer is right behind me here. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and use to fill in the lower portion of the raised garden. This is a jasmine that comes in over from my neighbor's yard. So I'm going to trim this thing back really good, take all this material and put it in the lower section. First, I need to move all this dirt out of here, this topsoil that's in here. So I'm going to take all this topsoil, move it out into this other raised bed garden until I'm done, and then move it back in. And I'm also going to add a bunch of shredded paper and cardboard into this, along with all this material that's scattered all along the ground right here, the leaves, branches, and everything that's around here. All that stuff will compost and turn into nice organic matter in a matter of a couple years. So that's how I'm going to make soil in the future, but I'm actually going to use it right now. So let's get going. Okay, now I've removed all the soil from here and I've placed it over into this other bed. So now I need to fill this whole entire area up with organic material. So I'm going to cut back this jasmine and place all that material into this bed area, along with some cardboard, shredded paper, miscellaneous bark and stuff that's all over the ground here, and then mix with some organic material, worm compost and worm castings. A lot of work, ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, so I have it about half full roughly right now with all this jasmine scraps. And I threw in that little bit of shredded paper at the very bottom. There's a lot of air gaps in it now, so I kind of want to fill those air gaps in before I put more of the jasmine in or throw in the big sheets of cardboard on. So what I'm doing right now is rake up all this material that's on the ground here. There's a lot of leaves and wood chips and probably some loose dirt and miscellaneous, but it's all smaller particles. And I'm gonna throw that all on there, and then hopefully I can stomp it down pretty good and get that base to be a lot more solid, kind of fill in all those air gaps. Then I'll probably add a little bit more shredded paper on top of that, and then the cardboard, and then we'll go back with some more jasmine. Okay, so I added some more jasmine to that and a bunch of the old dry branches. So I'm going to smash it down the best I can right now, get it good and mixed in. I'm getting pretty full. And once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and add this shredded paper to it, mix that in really good, and then go ahead and layer my cardboard pieces in there. I don't want to put the cardboard in right now because it'll create these sheets. It'll stop all these fine particles from kind of filling this stuff in. So I added that big bag of shredded paper on there. I think what I'm gonna do now is get a couple tubs of compost, throw that on top there. Again, jump on it a bunch, try and get it mixed in pretty good. I may even water it down a little bit. And then go ahead and add that shredded cardboard that I have, or big chunks of cardboard. And then I'll be getting pretty close. I'm gonna be pretty full. The nice thing about the compost too is that's gonna have a lot of worms in it. So that's gonna kind of inoculate this system with worms. And to top it off at the end, I'm going to add a bunch of worm castings to it as well on this bottom layer, just to get those cocoons and little worms and stuff in there and get the worms working on this as well as Mother Nature with just decomposing. So it's Friday morning, about 7 o'clock. So I watered down this area for about 2 or 3 hours, I suppose. Got it really good and wet, soaked it down good. So I'm gonna have to, it's sinking down a little bit more. I'm gonna tromp it down the best I can. I have some more worm castings I pulled out of a VermiBag Max, and I may grab one more tub. I'm gonna spread those in here along with another bag of shredded paper. And I may add just a little bit more of this bark and stuff that I have here on the ground. I'm real close to the level I need it to be. And to finally top it off, I'll probably grab one more big bucket of compost and kind of spread it over the top. Then I'm gonna go ahead and start putting blocks on here and get the second layer on. Okay, so I added the last of the cardboard, and I shredded this up really good, you know, at least into big chunks, because the roots are going to get into this area. And this is the point, the roots will definitely go down this deep, so I don't want a big sheet there acting like a weed block or anything. So I ripped it up into small pieces. And you could add pretty much as much cardboard as you want. If I had a dish, I probably would have added more down at the bottom, but I used everything I have. The blocks, I had to rearrange them. I didn't realize that these blocks aren't twice as wide as they are long. There's a little bit difference. So I tried to do an overlap on them, but when I go to overlap them and put this one here all the way to the edge, it doesn't come to the midpoint of this here, and I end up with a big gap on the end there. So these blocks are real stable. I don't think it's an issue either stacking them right on top of each other. They'd definitely be more stable if you could alternate them, overlap them one over the other, but it's not going to be an issue. What I'll do is to ensure that is in each of the corners, I'll probably put a fence post down all the way down and just hold it tight. And if the corners are held, everything else is basically locked in, because these blocks have a little bit of a locking mechanism in them. So now I'm going to go ahead and transfer the material I need from here into here to get it pretty much full, and then I'll add the last row and we'll finish this thing up. I won't lie to you, it's a lot of work. Okay, so I'm just about done. All I need to do now is pound down this corner stake and this corner fence pole in each of the corners. That'll lock that thing in really well. One last thing before I just kind of do the final touch up on it and show you what it really looks like is I listed a surprise on the title of this thing. And the surprise on this is going to be a VermiBag Mini. This is a brand new VermiBag Mini. It does have some dirt inside it because I used it to do some videos and stuff, but it was never used. So the inside of it's going to be a little bit dirty. You can see a little bit of dirt inside of it, but it's brand new. So I'm going to run a little contest on this for the next probably week and a half, I suppose. Let's just say the 20th of May. So up until the 20th of May, you can enter this contest. The only stipulation I have is you need to be a subscriber. And if you're a subscriber, all you want to do is pick a number between 1 and 2,000. And on May 20th, I'm going to go ahead and find out who's the closest to this thing, and I'll get it sent off in the mail to you. It may take 3 to 4 weeks to get to you because mail's really slow going out of here right now, but eventually you'll get it. So again, in the comments block, just pick a number between 1 and 2,000. Whoever's closest on May 20th will receive this brand new VermiBag Mini. And again, hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber now. Now I'm going to take you in close and show you what this final raised bed looks like. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I think it came out really well. Took a little bit more soil than I thought it was going to, but I'm going to make some more, right? Oh, and one more thing, unfortunately. Forgot to mention, the stand doesn't come with it. It's too expensive to ship those things. So all you're going to get is the bag and the butterfly straps in order to make that PVC stand. Or if you want to make a wood stand, that's fine. So this is what the final product looks like. Overall, I think it looks really nice. I did put 2 fence posts in the back in each of the 2 corners, help stabilize it just a little bit. And I'll also use those as a trellis for items that I plant on that back side. But, you know, it's much taller than a single row. So this is going to be much easier to access, much easier to harvest from, and just overall I think it's a better looking raised bed garden. Now this total bed took 24 blocks to build, and these are concrete blocks, not cinder blocks, so they're a lot heavier. So if you're interested in doing something like this, you know, I think it's a very viable project to do. It's actually pretty easy. I mean, I did get tired, but it's not too bad. So this is Tom from VermiBag. Till next time, ciao.